Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. My name is Rachel Lawrence. I am the marketing coordinator for the Winter Haven Chamber. And today we are going to be talking about social media advertising. It's a very, very robust monster. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit basic this morning, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty in future webinars. So with that being said, on average, a person spends about 50 minutes per day on their Facebook account. And according to Facebook, 1 out of every 5 minutes spent on a mobile device in the United States is on Facebook and Instagram. So that is more than enough time to capture the ideal audience for your business. Facebook advertising is a very fast way to start getting the information, more eyes on it, and more traffic to your advertisements. So when it comes to social media ads, Facebook is the absolute king. And understanding how to build audiences, how to target specific users, retarget certain groups, and measure success is key to any brand. And Instagram also uses the same Facebook ad manager as well. So genuinely, it's a good second step into ads on social media, especially when you're targeting a younger generation. Amanda, Joe, if you want to go to the first slide. So who should use Facebook advertising? So due to sheer volume and diversity of people on Facebook, companies across the industry can find value in advertising on Facebook. So whether you're a mom and pop shop or established Fortune 500, Facebook advertising can be super, super effective. And Facebook ads increase awareness as you're building your brand. These ads can also create a call to action, whether the advertisement is driving users to your website or downloading an app or ultimately completing a purchase. Amanda, Joe, if you want to go to the next slide. Thank you. So if you have absolutely no idea how to approach your Facebook advertising strategy these days, you are not alone. I remember when I first started using Facebook advertising for my photography business, it would say, oh, this post is performing better than usual, boost this post, and I would just press boost this post, and I didn't look at the demographics or who I was targeting, and looking back, I was targeting just the United States of America, and I'm like, there's a better way to do this, because I don't think someone in California is going to hire me to do a family shoot. So if you don't already have a personal Facebook profile, creating that profile is going to be your first step. And next, you're going to need to create a separate Facebook page for your business. And after you create the Facebook page for your business, if you don't already have one, I think most businesses have one nowadays, but you'll have to create a business manager account that allows you to run these ads on your page. So to begin, you're going to have to click the create account, or you're going to go to business.facebook.com and then create account, and then enter the name of your business and select the primary Facebook page for your account and provide the name and your work email address. And next slide. Okay. Once you do that, your next step is going to be to open the business manager settings. And under people and assets, you're going to click create or add accounts, and then select add new ad accounts. And I took a little screenshot. I'm not sure if you can see it over there on the right. And then click create new ad account. And then once you have that set up and you set your payment method and billing information, you're ready to navigate to the ads manager. And I think that this step is probably the most complicated in creating the ads, especially when you're trying to link it with your personal profile. And the nice thing about the business manager account is you can you can manage who has control over that. So if it's if you have more than one person managing that ads account and for some reason that person leaves the company, you can easily remove them without deleting the entire ads manager account. So the next slide, please. Thank you. Your ads manager is basically your advertising headquarters. It's basically a home base that includes functionalities that allow you to set up ad campaigns and your ad sets and your ads. You can manage and modify the amount of money you're spending, who you're targeting, and who your audience is, and then monitoring how your ads are performing with the campaign metrics. Next slide. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you first go into your ads manager. After creating your business account, you can access your ads manager by clicking the drop down in the upper right of your homepage on your Facebook page. And then you'll see the drop down that says ads manager, or you can also access it by clicking your business manager account in that same drop down. And once you have completed those steps, you're ready to start creating your ad. So if you click the green create ad button on the dashboard, it's right there on the upper left. And then next slide, please. Perfect. Okay. Your first step is going to be selecting an objective for your ad. So there's a couple different options. Actually, there's a plethora of options there. Whether it's an awareness campaign, which those awareness campaigns generate knowledge and interest in your product or service. Consideration campaigns allow people to engage with your business, click on specific links for more information, and keep your products or service at the top of mind. And then conversion campaigns prompt audiences towards a call to action, whether the action is to sign up for a future event or click something to purchase. And then once you've made your selection, you can create a campaign name and your campaign is officially created. And the next slide. Okay, defining your target audience. The biggest benefit of Facebook ads is the ability to target your ads, and it lets you pinpoint specific people who are most likely interested in these ads and only those people. So let's see, creating an audience. Businesses can define audiences based on specific parameters, such as, next slide, location. So like I said, when I first started creating ads, I was just targeting the entire United States, where you can make it very specific. So I try to do different cities in which you want your ads to be seen. So for this example, I just targeted Winter Haven, Lakeland, and Lake Wales, and then 10 miles surrounding those areas. But it just depends on who you want to target and what location those people are in. And then next slide. Okay, age. A good example on what age to target. We did an ad for our Winter Haven Chamber event, Taste of Winter Haven. And in those ads, we mentioned alcohol. And the Facebook algorithm won't allow you to target ads if you're mentioning beer or wine. So for that example, we targeted age 21 and older. If you don't target 21 and older and you mention alcohol in any sense, then it's going to flag it and you're going to have to change up the age in order for that ad to perform. And then next slide. Okay, interests. This is where you can really, really get specific. So if you're, another example is going back to our Taste of Winter Haven event. This is kind of who I targeted. People who are interested in wine clubs or cocktails, eating, food, anything food and beverage, nightlife, and you can really get specific. And then next slide. Another example is, Jen, I know that you're on the call, and she makes all these wonderful products for your pets. So she can target people who are interested in dogs, and Facebook has a way of studying your behavior. So if you're always liking photos of dogs and you're following pages that involve anything pet friendly, then it knows that about you in a creepy sense. So you're able to go in there and say that that's who you want to target, and it's going to generate those ads to those people who enjoy those pages.
Rachel, I have a question. So
yes.
in regards to this, and you're putting in like the pet stuff and all that kind of stuff, is there a limit as to the amount of things that you can target? You know, like
no. So if you see that audience definition up there on the upper right, the more different categories that you put in there, the more niche that demographic's going to be. So because it's only going to show those ads to those people, because that's the people that ideally are most likely to engage and purchase your products. So as you click more and more and more, that number is going to go down, and it's going to be more defined and more of a niche number. So there isn't a limit, but it's going to make your audience a lot smaller. Does that answer your question, Jen?
Yes. So basically what you're saying is the more categories you put in there,
the smaller the audience will be.
The smaller the audience is going to be.
Or
okay.
Your potential.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Another thing that you can do in that same category is you can put in your demographics. For example, last year I did a campaign for Valentine's Day, and I was looking for couples to do photo shoots. So I targeted people's relationship statuses. You can do so you can target people who are in a relationship, people who are engaged, or people who are married, and it's only going to show that ad to those people, and it'll be more defined, and hopefully those people will book a session. So next slide. Okay, so once you have your demographics and your audience set up, the next thing you're going to want to do is set your budget. There's currently two main ways to allocate your budget. How much you spend daily, or how much you would like the budget to be overall in its complete lifetime. Facebook suggests that you spend $20 as a daily budget by default, and you can always adjust your budget while the campaign is live with either option. As a rule of thumb, I always recommend that you spend at least $5 a day on an ad. And then once you keep your ads running for at least 7 days, you can monitor their behavior across the week. As research suggests, people tend to react differently to ads depending on the day of the week. So you might want to start with a budget of $100 to test a 2-week campaign. And then next slide. Okay, you are almost there. Now the next step in creating your ad is the creative side of things, to select your images or your video and then add your copy. So there's 5 different options to portray your video or your images. You can either do a carousel, which scrolls between 2 images. I believe it's 2 to 5 images. And you can also change the copy with each image. So for an example, I did a campaign for a spa one time, and I had different services that the spa offers in that, and like, oh, come get a pedicure, or we also offer massages, and each photo is a different copy and image for each ad that scroll. So it'll generate, or I'm sorry, it'll generate a different photo each time. So one time you click on Facebook and you're scrolling down and you see the spa ad, and then the next time you're scrolling down and you may see the pedicure ad. So it just depends. It just generates a different one. And then the next option is just to do a single image. And one thing that is annoying about Facebook is that it only allows you to have 20% text on your images. So if you're trying to do an image that is all copy, or you have multiple larger logos that have images on that, or that are on the image, then it's going to flag it and it's going to say, oh, your image has too much text on it, and you'll have to adjust that so it performs better, because it'll still be charging you, but it's not a lot of people will see it because of the text on it. Then your next option is either a single video, and then you can also do a slideshow of up to 10 images, or a looping video. And then lastly, you can do a collection of images. So I always try to remember that these ads are gonna be competing with pictures of people's babies and someone's fancy dinner. So try to focus on things about your business that make it stand out. The people, the environment, the products. Try to pick an image that will grab your audience's attention as they're scrolling through Facebook. As the best practice, I also try to remember to front load your copy with what's most important. When people are on Facebook, they scroll through so quickly that you need to ensure to grab your audience's attention from the get-go. And also be very explicit in your call to action, whether it's urging them to click to learn more or signing up for an upcoming event. As a general rule of thumb, try to keep it short and sweet. And then your ads placed after that. Next slide, please, Amanda. Okay, so with the ads manager, Facebook allows you to have full transparency on your return of investment of your ads. So some noteworthy metrics to monitor are, or at least that I monitor, is your clicks. So the number of times someone has clicked on your ad. Typically, if my cost per click is over 10 cents, I know that I might need to adjust my ad to bring that number down. And I always make a note or a reminder to check it at the same time every day. And if I'm not getting any traction, I try to tweak the creative or the copy, or even who I'm targeting or my budget. The next thing is impressions and engagements. I always try to look at engagements over impressions. The difference between the two is impressions are the people, how many times your ad was viewed by different people. So how many times like someone scrolled past it, or how many people are seeing it. And we're going to go over reading your metrics in the next webinar on June 11th, but there's so many different ways to generate a report and how to read your advertisements and how they're performing. And you'll be able to see, like, impressions is always going to be your larger number, but engagements is really what I strive for. And that's how many people interact with your ads through likes, shares, and comments. Okay, and next slide. I believe that was the last one. Okay, so do we have any questions? I know that was a lot in such a short amount of time, and once you're in there generating your ads, you'll be able to see how robust the system is. Let's see. Okay, did anybody have any questions?
Rachel, once you create the ad, let's say you're running it for 7 days,
Mhm.
and you're checking your metrics after, say, I don't know, I mean, you're checking it every day, but let's say after 3 days, you've discovered that some of your parameters are not where they should be. You can go in and change those and edit your ad. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Another metric that I look at, and we'll go over that on June 11th, is the relevancy score. And you can see if it's either going to be like 1, 2, or 3, or like 1 point. And that's how many times one person is seeing your ad. So if that number is really high up there and somebody's seen your ad like 4 different times, you're going to want to adjust your audience and your location in your audience to expand that range so they're not seeing it quite as many times, because that's basically telling you, oh, hey, a small amount of audience is seeing my ad 1,000,000 times. I can have more people see my ad, just not as many times.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I know if you don't already have your business manager's account set up, it can kind of be a little bit of an annoying process. So if you have any questions when doing that, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address is rachel@winterhavenchamber.com.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
All right. So as you're talking about targeting, is it better to target by, I guess, location or the interests that you were talking about?
I would say both. So you're definitely going to want to target your whatever location. So if you want just a certain city to be interested in the product that you're selling or service you're providing, then you want to just target those locations, but then also add in their interests to make that number even smaller, to really have your market identified to see who would be interested in those products or services.
Okay. So would it be like, I get what you're saying about city. So say for instance, if we're just saying Winter Haven, I know at least some of my Facebook friends don't have Winter Haven as like their city that they reside. They go with the bigger city. So people are just kind of familiar with, oh, okay, this is like the area that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of them have like Tampa or Orlando as their city, but they live in Polk.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. With that, you can select whether you're targeting people who live in a location, or like in the location settings, you'll see you can either target people who are at a location or in a location, or both. So when they're checking their Facebook page, it'll tell you on it'll basically know in their settings what location they're in. So you can make it so it's targeting both people who are in a location and people who are living in a location.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, well, I hope you guys learned a little bit about advertising today, and I hope you join me on June 11th to learn a little bit more about the metrics and how to read them.
All right, y'all have a great day.
You too, thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Rachel.